We have a couple of goals for this week. The first is to broaden the dog's understanding of what this game is truly all about. That this isn't just simply about finding food in boxes, but rather it's hunting to follow odor trails that could be quite literally anywhere. We'll also start covering the foundation for good leash handling skills. In order to do the exerciser for this week, you're going to need a couple things. You'll need a minimum of 10 cardboard boxes, and you'll also need a minimum of 4 novel containers. 2 of those novel containers are going to contain food. Now, some suggestions of what you can use for a novel container is Tupperware containers, plastic or metal buckets, or even training cones. There'll be a link in the resources and handout portion of your player with some suggestions of where you can find these novel containers. Just make sure that when you're storing your novel containers, you're keeping your food containers away from your empty containers, the same way that we suggested that you do that for your boxes. And since we're going to be working with your on-leash handling skills, you're also going to need a 6 to 8 foot leash. Any leash will do as long as it's not a flexi or a retractable leash or a chain leash. All right, let's get started. We have a couple of goals for this week. The first is to broaden the dog that some of you are probably pretty upset with me. Because I'm sure that you're saying, now hang on one second, lady. You went on and on and on about how great those boxes are. And now we're going to be using something else? Make up your mind, woman. Now, I promise that there is a reason why it is that we're going to be using novel containers. The reason being is that dogs simply do not generalize well. We actually have to make a concerted effort as their handlers and trainers to help them understand larger concepts. So as an example, if you were to only teach your dog sit in your kitchen, but that was the only place you ever trained it and you ever introduced it and you ever used it, and then you tried to have them do sit reliably out into the world, your dog is going to look at you like you're crazy. Because as far as they're concerned, the putting the butt on the floor behavior that they do when you ask only happens in the place with the refrigerator and the treats. So the same applies to scent work. We have to make certain that our dogs understand that this game is more than simply just finding food in boxes. The reason we have to go through this concerted effort is that the fact that dogs don't generalize well, the other side of that coin is that they contextualize brilliantly. And we want them to know that odor can be anywhere. We also have to recognize that dogs can pick up on patterns really easily. So if we only stick with boxes for an extended period of time, and that's the only thing we ever use, our dogs are always going to assume that the odor is always with a box. And particularly if you're interested in competition, that's just simply not going to be the case. Even for container searches at trial, they may not use boxes. They may use other things. So what we're trying to do in introducing these novel containers is show our dog the game isn't about the boxes. It's all about the odor. So the whole purpose behind this week is we're really going to be zeroing in on having the dog follow odor. Now, because we're changing the picture a bit, we have to be really super patient with our dog because a lot of them are going to assume, I smell odor, I see boxes, the odor must be in the box. That's your dog being smart because that's what the game has been up to this point. And other containers are going to be holding and releasing odor differently than the boxes. So just make sure that you're breathing and you're being as patient with your dog as you possibly can.